Welcome to another episode of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. If you're looking to grow, scale, get out of the junk removal industry, you've come to the right place. Here on the Trash Talk Business Podcast, we talk about growing, scaling, building your business to build the life you want in this amazing place called the junk removal world. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, coming off a fresh victory with a backup quarterback from the great state of Texas, Casey Bubba Lawrence. What are we talking about today, Case?
Well, today we have another guest, and his name's Logan Ward, and he is from Central Iowa. So we're going to get to know a little bit about him, what drives him, what's on his mind, and what he's trying to do.
So this brings up a good point. I talked about Logan the other day to my girlfriend, and she's like, how was your day? What'd you do? And I was like, oh, yeah, this guy hit me up. We talked for a little bit. We talked for about a half hour the other night. When I was sitting at an airport, and we had a great conversation. She said, hey, why would anyone want to get into junk removal, right? And I've been doing this like all my life. So it was like kind of a slap in the face, but also a serious question. Like, why do you want to get in junk removal? Now, I know me, right? My story is simple. I used to sit with my dad in his truck. We used to drive around Tuesday and Wednesday nights in the nice neighborhoods picking through their trash because we were broke. And they had good stuff that we didn't have, right? That's how I got G.I. Joes and He-Man figures and things like that. So that's why I just know it. And I know the importance of recycling. I love it. Casey was like, hey, I got shit else to do. I want to get into business. This seems like a good idea. And then he kind of figured it out. And now Logan here is like, hey, I got a job. But, yeah, let's quit that thing and get into junk removal. So let's kick things off right there. Logan, answer the question that my girlfriend challenged me with. What'd you do, Casey? What's going on? Oh my! We're not even 2 minutes into this podcast,
dude,
and you already spilled beer.
Oh fuck! I thought Jesus. I saw a big ass tarantula, and it was my son's toy, and I just spilled beer everywhere.
You know what? I'm actually joining you on this beer adventure. All right. I'm getting a weird. All right, so I'm in a hotel room, and I'm getting a weird glaze, whatever. The fucking sun's coming in, and it's like whatever. So I'm trying to block it here. Anyways, and I actually have a beer. That was the point of my story. I have a beer because I just came from the exhibit hall. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be like Casey when I grow up. I'm going to start by drinking beer during podcasts. Corona, no fruit. That's what we're drinking today. Anyways, all right. So before we were so rudely interrupted by Casey and his antics, yeah, the guy just always wants more showtime. All right, Logan, so answer the question that my girlfriend proposed to me. Why would you or anybody else want to get into the junk removal industry?
Well, the ultimate goal is, in my mind, freedom. I mean, you're 9 to 5. I mean, you're running under a boss. You know, you're told what to do. You show up daily on a set schedule, and you can't strain much from that. And so, basically, the small business idea is just to be able to be your own boss, control your schedule, do what you want to do. As far as junk removal business, I currently run around with a lot of realtors, and it's kind of a supply and demand thing. And I mean, one of my buddies was like coming up with ideas, pitching ideas to me of what I can do to increase income, to, you know, become my own boss. And he's like, hey, I don't know how many houses this year I've had close, and the seller ended up leaving a bunch of shit behind. And one of my buddies, I mean, he drives a Prius. I don't know what the hell he's going to do cleaning out a house with a Prius. So
I've seen it.
And that was one real, you know,
37 trips. That's 37 trips to Goodwill.
I mean, he's got good gas mileage, so he can run back and forth a couple times, but that's about all he's got going for him with that. But no, I mean, that was one realtor of 12 in the office. And then, I mean, I've got another realty office that they hang out with us, and they're new construction. I know new construction, they deal with a lot of shit getting thrown out after the house is being built, just laying in the yard.
Yep.
Someone's got to pick that up.
That was my my cup of tea.
Yeah. It's interesting. So these two segments are the two segments where Casey and I could not be more different. But you hit the two. Like, Casey's like, fuck realtors. I don't got time for them. And me, I built my entire business around realtors. Right. Even to this day, 40+% of my projects revolve around realtors.
Right. And that's insane. Like, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as say F them, but I cannot believe that much business you do with realtors, because even for us, like, I get it. I wouldn't say F them, but at the same time, they were not making a huge dent in our day to day.
They make a huge dent, like to a point
That's crazy.
where so even our general manager, the task I gave my general manager next year, I said you have to do 52 realtor presentations. You have to average one realtor presentation a week. And these are realtors that I've known for years, but whatever, they forget about you somehow, right? But okay, today's a case in point. Today we had a crew that had 3 jobs in the morning. They're going to be done by like 11:30, and we had a project at our warehouse. I'm ripping out a closet and I'm turning it into a bathroom at our warehouse so I can live in my warehouse over the winter while I remodel my house, whatever, right? Well, realtor calls at 10 o'clock, emergency situation. They were closing at 9 a.m. They hand the keys over within like 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours. The state of Wisconsin says it has to be within 1 hour of closing when you hand the keys over. And they're like, we can't hand the keys over. So they did a 9 o'clock close. And basically the realtors worked it out where they had till 5 o'clock today to get it figured out. And so Ken's like, yeah, this is great. There's no estimate. We just go there and keep hauling until it's done. And someone's going to pay for it. Now, I told him, hey, make sure you have a credit card on file. And right, because I don't want to get screwed. But it's a realtor I know, so I'm going to get paid. They can always hold proceeds. Right? There's a way to get paid. And with realtors, they're consistently working with people that are in the zone. So for my junk removal experience is that there's 3 times that people get junk removal. 40% of the time it has to do with a real estate transaction. 40% of the time it's a life event. Someone's moving in, moving out. They're doing a remodel. They bought new furniture. Something significant. Something else triggered it. And 20% of the time it is we're just sick of looking at it. Right? The impulse. Oh, okay. Like I didn't think about it, but I guess we're going to do it or whatever. Right? But most times something's happening, and if 40% of the time it's because realtors, I want to go after that market. I'd say my first year, 50% plus of my jobs were from realtors, and of that, 50% of those were from one real estate company. So 25% of my business, my first year, came from one real estate company, because I was their guy.
Well,
so
not even buying and selling houses. You got to think about the rental aspect of it too. Because I know these realtors have rentals themselves. One of the guys I know closely, he's got 4 houses to himself, and then the connections they have with property management companies who manage 125 houses. And being here at Iowa State University, every year come August, it's called turn, and every year college kids leave shit behind because they don't care.
Yeah,
Mommy and daddy are signed on the lease, so they're not.
I'll tell you this: the fact that you're right there by the school is a huge plus, because now you have so much opportunity. Hell, you can even get in not just with those property management companies, but the actual school for their dorms and their, and go on from there. But I'll tell you what we saw is we weren't around a school. Our closest school was actually in a different territory. In the future, like someone came in and bought up that territory, but what we saw was a lot of remodeling our first year. That was probably our most consistent in the beginning. But here's what I love about junk removal, right? Especially now that Logan's, wanting to get into it. The cool thing was you're going to see who your most consistent are. You're going to see who is your most profitable, who is your most pain in the ass. At the same time, you're also going to see what life events, like Andy was saying, what happens the most for you. Like for me, realtors didn't do 40% of our business. That's just not how that's not our experience. But we had a lot of construction, but we also sought that out too. So like, to the respect of what you were saying with new construction and remodeling, we were very picky with our construction cleanups. We went for the cost plus custom home builders because they had a budget, but it was very flexible. That way we didn't have to technically compete with the lowest of the low. We beat them on quality. And when it comes to $1 million+ house, quality will always win, because those people want to come and see the construction of their home, and they don't want to have to worry about tripping over piles of crap or piss bottles getting into their own door. And that kind of helped us out a lot, but we stayed away from the production builders because they were just wanting, hey, who's the cheapest? That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you got a prime market, your customer. Let's jump into it. What don't you know? Because junk removal it might sound sexy on the outside, but what don't you know that we can talk through with you here today? Because there's a lot of our listeners that are either wanting to get in or dabbling, or they're in but they're treading water and whatnot. So what questions do you have that Casey and I can field so that you don't have the huge learning curve that guys like Casey had jumping in the industry for the first time, or the things that I just learned along the way because I had the luxury of doing it for 15 years before I really committed to it. So what don't you know you want to figure out?
The work itself, it's not hard to grasp. I mean, you show up, you do a good job, you exceed expectations, you get the job done.
Yep.
Pricing out that job is where I'm running into issues. I can analyze my market that I've got. I mean, I've got 1-800-GOT-JUNK in the area. I don't even think College Hunk Service is my area, so that helps. And then I've just got 4 or 5 different part-timer junk haulers that if I tried calling to get
those are going to be your competition.
Just the price.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get a hold of them. I can't even get a quote from them. So that just goes to show.
Yeah, pick up the phone.
Yeah, I mean, some home advisor, it sent me through 3 robots before I even got a person. And it just goes to show the only reputable company around in the area is 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and they're priced to the roof. So my issue is finding pricing, is finding that sweet spot.
Have you called the 800-GOT-JUNK to get a price match or a price check? What does their full trailer go for?
15-yard truck. It was $598.
Okay. What is a single item for them?
Minimum of 110.
Okay. So they're I would say in the junk removal sphere, they're right in the mid section right now for pricing. Right, low is right. I'll say low is anyone that's south of 500. Mid is that it's called 500 to 700, and higher pricing is north of 700. I know in Wisconsin we're north of 700, but we're in Milwaukee, major metropolitan area, and our landfill fees are pretty high in Wisconsin because of high regulation. I know down in the southeast, landfill rates are lower and prices are lower. And you go out to West California, I mean it's $1,000 for a full trailer, right? So again, this is where. We're on junk removal forums. Casey and I are. The ones that Casey doesn't get kicked off of.
Hey, we're working that out.
Hey, Casey has a habit of getting kicked off of junk removal forums. Not the first forum he's been kicked off of for preaching his mind. That's like we always joke. That's how we got to know each other. We used to argue on Facebook. And we're like, "Fuck this, let's argue over the phone." And now here we are.
Kicked out of my own company's forum.
I pay for this privilege. I don't want to be part. And then they let him back in. This is why you don't franchise. They let him back in. He's like, no, I don't want to be part of it. Fuck you guys. So don't franchise. There's our plug to don't fucking franchise.
Oh my gosh.
Hashtag JDog no more. So there's our plug of the day of what not to do.
I like Beer Andy a lot better.
Beer Andy. Well, here's what it is. I was up at 5:30 this morning to catch a flight. So now we're going to go. So this is the trash talk part of the trash talk business podcast. It doesn't take much for us to get distracted. I mean, we are a minute 56 when Casey saw us fight. So we already the rails.
I thought it was
allegedly. So here, Casey. This will get you twitchy. So I'm down here in New Orleans. I'm speaking. I talked today about putting on e-waste events. Put that down, Logan. Put your how do I get out in front of people? Do free shit. Do free, not discounted. Gary Vee has a really good video on free, not discount. Watch that video. Anyway, so I'm down in New Orleans. I flew out this morning, and I flew Spirit, which is never a good idea. So I flew Spirit. I'm not looking for a sponsorship from them. Anyways, so flight was at 8 a.m. Board's at 7:15, so I get to the airport at 7, naturally. O'Hare, one of the busiest airports in the country. Get in, walk through the gate, 7:14, no big deal. Get on the bird, taxi out, and they're like, oh, hey, we have a maintenance issue. Of course you do. But they said it was a paperwork glitch. And I'm like, how do you have a paperwork glitch?
Yeah.
Like, this is the first flight of the day. Anyways, land 10:20, 10:25. I get in the cab at 10:35. It's a 25-minute drive to the conference. I get there at 11:01. No big deal. I check my bag. I go downstairs to get my badge, a fancy badge. It's 11:07, and the guy calls me because I'm speaking today. He's like, hey, are you in New Orleans? And I was like, yeah. He goes, well, you haven't registered for the event yet. Or picked up, and I was like, I'm sitting here in line. He goes, okay, well, we're on in 5 minutes. I thought I was speaking at 11:30. Turns out we were speaking at 11:15. So I walk in the room at 11:12, and I was like, 3 minutes to spare. After all that, got up, did like a 10-minute presentation. And what's great about it is now that I did a presentation, I get my fancy little speaker tag. But moreover, at the conference, now people are seeking me out because they're like, hey, you knew things about stuff. You were willing to put yourself out there. So the point of this story, right, to you, Logan, being new in business, you could be the new guy card for a while, and you got to put yourself out there. I know you got a background in marketing and digital ads, but once you get out in front of people, especially realtors that you don't know, you got to get out there and be the guy, because your branding, your company is less significant than what services you offer and what people think about you and how they feel after you get done. Now
I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't offer services for free. Just to let you know, I would offer your time, because your time's way more valuable. But especially in the beginning, your time can go far. Like, hey, you need to volunteer for this ribbon cutting thing. Cool, I'm there. You need to volunteer for this event you're throwing at the park. Hey, I'm there. I'm gonna be repping the hell out of my company. Because here's the thing: the minute it's weird, it's like a catch-22. The minute you offer one free service, you are now a free company. That's how people will think of you. They will call you. Oh, I thought you did it for free. So just remember, I always we try to volunteer our time as much as we could. Sometimes we have our guys. Hell, we even got I don't know if you purchased it or what, but we got a part of the roadway. We adopted a roadway.
Oh yeah, up to highway. Yeah.
That way, twice a month, my guys with a truck and trailer, hazards, cones, vest, the whole nine, picking up trash on the side of the road, and people are like, "That's pretty cool." Plus, you get a little sign that says "Adopt a Highway," whatever. But that right there, I would actually recommend that in your first year, because you need to be out there getting exposed anyways.
You know what? Why have you never brought that up, Casey? And why the hell why didn't I think about it?
I don't know, man. I think it's one of those things where we're only 26, 27 episodes in. We're still finding more about each other, you know?
Jesus. We're learning.
Adopt a highway. But as far as pricing goes, here's what I would suggest. Whenever you do your first pricing, give yourself room for growth. The last thing you want to do is start out maxed out, because then come year 2, year 3, you have to raise your prices with the times, and you don't want to get to a point where you're already kind of priced out to where if you go even higher, now you're just losing business because people are like, all right, that doesn't make sense. And until you can win over the crowd, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but until you can win over your people, you have to understand pricing is one of your biggest factors. Once you start winning over the community, then you know, people will choose you based on you. They're not going to be like, oh, you're the cheapest or you're the medium. No, you're going to be like, hey, this is Logan. Call him. He'll definitely take care of you.
Yeah.
But so you do want to be relevant. You want to stay around the same range, but you also want to understand what does it for you. I mean, pricing goes into everything, right? How much does it cost to dump your shit? How much does it cost to do it? What can you physically, or go ahead, Andy. I keep cutting you off.
No. It's all good. Well, first off, I was looking at adopting a highway. I found a highway I already want to adopt. Why did I never think about that? Second thing, you got to make your pricing simple. We had someone on here the other day, Junk Busters. Why can't I think of his name? It's driving me nuts. He had 13 different price points, and I was already confused, and I do this industry. And that was a recommendation from another company that we trust, JRA, and I got that, right? But I can't stress enough. I might just no shit. If I was you, recommendation, if your competition's at $589 and you're coming in the market fresh, I would go in at $99, $199, $299, $399, $499. Done. $499 for a full truck, because now they can see, oh, there's real value there, right? And then someone says, well, why are you cheaper? Oh, well, I'm not a franchise. I'm not sending my money, 10% right off the top somewhere else. So I can be 10, 12% below. The other thing is, for the people that are chasing a good price or a great value, you can steal some market share. Now, it's not about, to Casey's point, you also want to give yourself room to grow. If you start too high, you can't go lower, and it's weird, right? But if you start at $499, even between now and the end of the year, just to test the market, and then typically if you're going to do price raises, it's going to be like January 1 and July 1. Those are typically when price raises happen. And I would run with the $499 price from today with the expectation till December 31st, test it out, and then run with it. And maybe April 1, because we're in the Midwest, it snows. You got to get through the winter. Maybe April 1, you bring the prices up, or July 1, you bring it up once you establish yourself more and get more referral business. but start with a simple pricing model, and then only charge for things that either take more cost. And what I mean by that is like TVs and tires, tube TVs, tires, they have an inherent no shit real cost of the landfill, right? So you got to charge up on those, right? And then other things where like we charge for pianos and hot tubs because I got to bring additional people, and then right, pianos, hot tubs, and pool tables typically. And then the only thing you really need to charge beyond that is when it takes excess time, like I got to dismantle something or take something apart to take it out. Because the other thing that's in the junk removal industry, and you see this, is hidden fees. That's something the big boys do consistently. It's hidden fees. Now, on the flip side, one of the challenges I see is people that are new in this industry, they're on these forums consistently. They're like, hey, what do you think I should charge for this pile? And I'm like, hey, why are you asking a bunch of random people on Facebook that don't know your market, don't know your costs, don't know the logistics, don't know your capabilities, how much to charge for it? If you go to market with a confidence of your price, you're good to hook. When you go to McDonald's, they're not like, oh, who's on the fryer today? Oh, based on that, it's going to be this much because that person makes more or less than the. No, this is the price.
Yeah.
So,
well, keep it simple. Remember, you are not your customer, all right? So you have to understand people. I would say your customer's biggest disadvantage is the knowledge that they lack of what you do and provide. So when it comes to pricing, you have to understand, am I giving them value? So the reason why you stagger it the way you do, I personally I like to kind of try to talk them into more because, hey, here's your value. If I charge you $1.99 a quarter, then it would blow you out of the water. But I'm only going up into this much increments. So technically a full trailer, it's technically worth $800, but I'm only charging you $500. So you're giving them that value, right? On the same token though, remember what you're getting in your truck or trailer. So whenever I would do construction cleanup, okay, 99.999% of the time, it is straight trash, GSW, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to sit there and pick it out.
Municipal solid waste.
It's disgusting. Jesus. It's trash. It's just not good. So I would never bend or even give any kind of break when it came to that because I was like, there's literally nothing in it for me. I know for a fact I'm going to have to go dump it. It's going to be heavy, and it's going to take me not just to go dump to the landfill. It's going to take two guys because they did the job. Now they have to go to the landfill, dump, and then book it to the next job. So you also leave room for flexibility. You're going to get some jobs where it's like, hey, I have a bunch of bubble wrap. And you're like, what? And you get there and it's a full trailer of bubble wrap. And you're just like, I don't know what to do with my hands. So you're going to load it and you're going to be like, I don't feel right charging you $500 for a full trailer of bubble wrap. For one, I can have my kid pop it for about a week straight and keep him entertained. So I'm actually gaining value. But for two, it's light as hell. And it's bubble wrap. So you can actually have flexibility there. You can, hey, I'm not going to charge you
99.9% air. It's air. It's air with a little bit of plastic.
And I bring that as an example because it will happen. You're going to get those kind of jobs, man. Cardboard,
and sometimes
paper.
We'll go back to the guy with the Prius. The guy with the Prius can't unload bubble wrap. But I've done it. I've cleaned out garages. I pulled 2 trailers of cardboard boxes out of a house one time. Actually, I had a contract. I don't know if I ever told you about this, Casey. I had a contract with a large moving company where they would pay us $250 to pick up boxes, cardboard boxes, post move, right? And they were always in the garage. And they're like, dude, this is fucking awesome. $250 for cardboard boxes. I sent a 18-foot box truck, 32 cubic yard box truck to this one house. It was like 10th, 15th job, whatever it was. Our guys fucking hated it because it was cardboard. But I'm like, no disposal. You take it right to the MRF, the materials recovery facility. Like I'm thinking in my head, this is fucking awesome. We went to that job for $250. We loaded 2 entire trucks or trailers worth of cardboard, and I still just in another truck. And I'm like, nope.
It sucks.
And it took the guys like 3 hours, 3 hours to load this cardboard because it just kept sliding and stacking. Yeah. So what I thought was a great idea was fucking terrible. Anyways, there's my cardboard story. Loading cardboard. All right, so don't load cardboard.
But see, even that's a one-off. I mean, you can even work on pricing with that. For you getting started, though, I would keep it simple. Have your trailer pricing, have your labor pricing. And remember, whenever you're going and do these estimates in your head, the minute you get there, start a clock. I'm here. How long am I going to take from the moment I park this truck to talk to the neighbor, see all the crap? Now I can actually look at the crap and be like, okay, this is going to take 30 minutes, but my guys have already been here for 5, and this is a chatty Cathy, so they might be here for another 10 minutes because she wants to know everybody's history, which is fine also. You got to put that in consideration. Keep that simple. Now, again, labor pricing, a lot of people don't charge labor. I don't understand why, because you are literally doing labor-intensive work. I will usually include labor with every price point, right? Quarter, half, 3/4, and full. I think Andy and I are similar, 30 minutes per quarter.
I go 15. What do you mean? 15 minutes per quarter. It's how quarters work.
30 minutes per quarter trailer.
Oh, my bad. I was thinking labor pricing. Yes. No. Yeah. 30 minutes. Yes. 30 minutes for Jesus.
Yeah. So a full trailer, full truck, 2 hours around. But labor, here's why labor is important. You're going to get a job. It's going to be a quarter trailer worth of crap, but it's going to take an hour and a half to pick it up because it's scattered. Now you're out money because you've been there an hour and a half. That should have taken you less than 30. So you keep that in mind. And that's a very easy explain. Ma'am, sir, hey, look, the volume, this is a quarter trailer, but it looks like it's going to take me about an hour to pick this up. We give you 30 minutes per quarter trailer. So I'm going to charge you either 30 minutes of labor on the back end or an hour. So that's also something just to keep in mind.
Yep.
A travel fee. A lot of my new construction is going to be about 20, 30 minutes south of me in the next town. The city's growing north.
That's 30, 40 minutes is your max. I wouldn't mess with it unless it's like an hour.
Yep. So I look at our service area. This is how we do service area fees. We figure out our service area. Our service area is about 45 minutes, right? We know we can go farther. We got a freeway vein. Got it, right? So 45 minutes is our service area. As soon as we exceed 45 minutes, the clock starts. So for every 15 minutes we're out of area, we charge what our labor price would be. Because I still got 2 guys on the clock sitting in the truck. Mm-hmm. And then I charge that, I have to double it, right? Because I have to give out there and back. And I explain that to people all the time. And the opportunity there is people that live in more rural areas, they don't have services like this available. They're typically used to having to pay for it, and they're not shitty. Now, on the flip side, depending on the size of the job, I might not fuck around. Like I did a job a couple of weeks back that was 9 trailers. We put a dumpster on site. We got it done in a day. I didn't charge them an out-of-area fee. So it was 9 trailers, and I just sent my guys down there and banged it out. And it was for a realtor to that point, one of my best realtor relationships. So we didn't charge them. It was like it was an hour, like an hour and 10 minutes from our shop. It's like I'm not going to call it $100, $150, right, per crew be a stop point of getting the job. And at 9 trailers, I got time baked in. My guys got lunch, they got taken care of that day, whatever. Because I know that's more important than I bang it out in one day and I get cooperation from the realtors and the old homeowners than anything else, right? Me being able to put a dumpster there the night before was huge because now I was out of my way and I could just go bang on that job. So find other ways to reduce the amount of effort you have to put into it because it's just time, money, effort. Those are the only 3 things that result in energy towards the project. And then sharing the cost savings there. So 45 minutes, go for it. Now, you might want to limit some SKUs. Like I wouldn't want to chase 45 minutes for a single item or even a quarter trailer. So what you do there is you just got to be honest with people. Be like, hey, I would love to come out and do your project. Now if it's for a realtor, the stuff's like when they're selling the house, they only have what they have. So you might make special rules for realtors because you want to keep that relationship going. But if it's a homeowner, you might say, hey, you know what? I'm probably not the best fit for you, right? If it's way out there. When you're first starting, though, you don't say no to shit because that's a review. That's a referral. That's
experience.
That's correct. That's another experience. You got to do, I don't know what the magic number is, 1,000 jobs under your belt. Mm-hmm. And so you chase for that first whatever. And give yourself simple goals like, hey, I'm going to chase to 10 reviews, then 50, then 100. And then you got to be thinking, hey, what do I got to do to get that next review? Because that's going to drive your SEO. That's going to drive the overall business. And also, it's a feather in the cap. Every time you get a review, you're like, hell yeah, I got this, right? It's that little, serotonin confidence boost that you made it happen.
Yeah, and I think if you want to do any kind of traveling fee, if you do any hauling only jobs, there you go. Because that right there is strictly windshield time that you're paying someone. And look, I get you're going to be starting out. You have to look at yourself as an employee first. If you go out there thinking you're not getting, it doesn't matter what I charge for myself. I'm here. I'm free. You're not. You're expensive. Now, be fair though, because you have to look at when you do hire that next person, how much you paying them and how much do you want to make off of them. We did a hauling job. I think it was to Tyler, Texas and back. And that's about a 3-hour drive one way. I didn't want to do it, but the customer, they were a longtime customer of ours. They trusted us and we got to go pick up something cool. It was one of those Sinclair Oil Company dinosaurs, those big green dinosaurs. He was a collector, right? And there was one at this flea market. He really wanted it. So I said, hey, cool. Here's how we do hauling. I'm going to just use one guy because they were going to load it for us there. But so I charged him. I don't remember the exact price, but I charged him mileage. I charged him a fee, just a handling fee, because now I'm taking on someone else's purchase, right? I mean, if I F it up, my insurance has to cover it. So that's just something to keep in mind. I also wouldn't go out trying to get a bunch of hauling jobs at first. They're not the biggest paying jobs. I didn't like doing them.
And the other problem is if you get a bunch of hauling jobs, you're going to end up with a bunch of hauling jobs. Yeah.
And then you're like, why do I have a dump trailer if I'm just hauling crap?
Well, speaking of, we talked last week. So him and I did talk. Whatever. Okay, this is
what equipment are you running with?
That was one of the questions we had.
Truck and trailer. That's going to be the lowest barrier to entry, I believe. What equipment do you recommend as far as being a single operator between hauling equipment, picking up shit? I mean, your dolly is going to be typical, but
I'll tell you this:
your bigger items.
Harbor Freight's going to be your best friend at first.
Oh my god,
yeah,
I love it. And then you're going to hate them. And then you're going to hate them once you realize they have garbage. Garbage. Oh, man. They have the best. Yeah. They got these fuck off yellow dollies. They're about wide as the biggest grill you can find in a bar.
They last one job.
Oh, one job. They're so good. They work out. But the problem is you can't get them through any doorway known to man. You can't get them up any ramp on like a box truck, right?
That has been my curiosity as far as carrying big equipment or big items.
No, so if you're doing truck and trailer, then you're in my world, and I'm gonna tell you right now what I loved my standard equipment in the bed.
Dump truck or
regular truck
or trailer, dump trailer. Okay. All right.
Pickup trailer and dump trailer.
So last week him and I were talking about the single axle. Yeah, you love the wheelbarrows.
You got to.
So I definitely have a wheelbarrow and a two-wheeler. Look. I stopped buying air up tire dollies. They're a waste of money. Mm-hmm. I got the solid. I don't care if they're an extra $30. I got the solid wheels because it just seems like every time you use it, it's why is a tire flat? What the hell? Or why does it do this? Bouncing back and forth, right? Yeah. So just go out and get a good dolly. You're going to pick up shit as you go too, by the way.
Oh yeah, I got. So you get hundreds of garbage cans throughout the year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You find which ones you like the most, and once you get employees, I gotta say, I can't get employees to stack garbage cans alike. You got a circle one instead of a square one, instead of a circle one that's got tires on it, and then there's there's a stack of 7 5-gallon pails. They're just like rubber cemented together on top of that.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get recycling like those little recycling
32-gallon toters. Those are fucking awesome. They got 4 holes in them. Those are the best.
But as far as starting out, what to spend money on? Trash can, a good. What are those brute trash cans? 90 gallon,
trash, good.
50 gallon.
Jesus, 90 gallon. 50. You can fill it. You might be able to fill it with your. What do you call it? Your.
I'm trying to think. Was it 50 gallon?
Yeah, it's like a 56 gallon. Yeah, you can get like a 32 or 50, 56 at Depot.
Yeah.
Never take the lid either. They always give you the lid. You'll never use that lid. Don't even think for a second you're going to use that lid.
Because you can put your sledge. So get a sledge. Get a sledgehammer. Get a mini sledge. Mini sledge was my favorite.
Oh my god, a little
mini sledge,
16-inch 2-pounder.
It's amazing. And then go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get the box package of DeWalt that gives you a Sawzall with 2 drills.
It's a recip saw. It's a fucking recip saw.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a recip saw. My shop. I talked about this Sunday. I'm 4 blocks from the Milwaukee World headquarters, but I was raised on yellow. I was raised right on yellow.
Big red.
So it's a
big red.
Yeah, you're a red guy. You're a Milwaukee
big
guy.
Big red. Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's what you need. You need to Casey's point. You need that 4-pack. It's got the circ saw,
Yeah.
the recip saw, the impact, and the drill.
I've got
Right?
those ones
Yeah.
already,
Got
so
it.
I'm
And then-
sitting good. Yeah.
Okay, but then you also need a corded recip saw and
Yes.
a corded circular saw.
And an
That's where guys
extension cord.
fuck up. And an extension cord. And here's the deal. Until you have 10 extension cords, don't scrap one. You need 500 foot.
Hey,
I'm not
Andy,
wrong, Kate. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
When we sold the company, I remember I was doing our like final walkthrough of everything. Like we just got funds were transferred, everything, and we're walking through, and he's like, and the new owner was like, "Hey, so there's this big box in the your other warehouse, because we had multiple warehouses." He's like, in the ops warehouse, there's this huge box, and we just can't move it. And I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "That's the extension cords." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Yeah, those are all of our extension cords that we picked up, and we just never did anything with them."
Never got rid of
We had like 100, and they were scattered 10 foot to 100 foot long extension cord just in this.
Those
Oh,
suckers
my
aren't light. They're not light.
No.
No,
And,
and it's not worth. It's not. You can't strip them. You get garbage for
You scrap
scrapping them.
No, you don't.
And you need-
a dollar
you
ten,
need one-
$1.10 a pound. When you ship
We
out
didn't.
a full Gaylord, yeah, that's your week. A full Gaylord of low grade copper wire, which is extension cords are. Full Gaylord is 750 to 800 pounds at $1.10. That's a $800 to $880 Gaylord, Jack. I make more money scrapping number 2 copper wire than anything else. Because it's fucking heavy for right. It's heavy. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's everywhere.
Yeah,
I can fill up like aluminum, for example. I can fill up a Gaylord of aluminum pretty quick, but it's like 150, 200 pounds at 55, 60 cents a pound. It takes me a month or so to fill up a Gaylord of number 2 copper wire, low grade wire we call it, which is extension cords, but it's also all the cords on every lamp known to man. And vacuums and small appliances. The shit's everywhere. Don't knock number 2 low grade.
Don't throw them away.
No
is
respect.
what I'm saying. But
No respect.
have at least 150 feet of total extension cords in your
Easy.
truck.
Yeah. No,
right.
because there's gonna be you're gonna end up with one of those rainbow play sets that's in the back
my
40.
gosh.
And those things are built,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, by NASA.
You go through all the
you turn one of those
batteries,
things-
and you're like,
Jesus, you can't even take one of those
Damn.
out with a catapult. Yeah. Seriously,
But-
a half hour
Yeah,
max with
it's-
like 4
it's-
batteries and you're done.
but I'll tell you, have that extension cord in the truck. So remember, everything you have in the truck in your first month, try to double it. Okay, try not to pay, but also try to double it. So for every shovel that you have in your truck that you need every day, try to get another one, whether it's a spade or a flat. But you definitely need a snow shovel, a spade, and a flat shovel. The reason why I say all 3 of those, because a snow shovel is amazing for lightweight, big, nasty shit. And a flat shovel is good for like dirt. And then, of course, your spade. But don't worry about getting a pick.
I've never used a spade shovel. What do you use a spade shovel for?
We very rarely use them, but it's one of those that's like, it's in the truck just in case you need it. If you need to get through some dirt, I don't know.
No.
But don't get a
you
pick.
do
Don't get an axe.
No.
Don't get a pick.
No.
We started out trying to go like full bore.
No, a mini sledge, a circular saw,
Yes.
recip saw, drill, and then your basic
Breaker
hand
bar.
tools. Yeah, breaker bar, cheater bar. Then your basic hand tools, like
Yes.
one of them Milwaukee. Milwaukee does make like the best screwdriver. We used those when we did that job, McDonald's job. Those Milwaukee
Fuck those.
ratcheting screwdrivers with all the attachments. Also,
My hand was like this for like a month after.
oh my god, we took apart these COVID barriers, 34,000 of them in 2 months. Casey did about 7
By
under
hand.
arrest by hand, hundreds of them an hour. Anyways, I lost track. Oh, Costco! You got a Costco near you?
Sam's Club.
That ain't a Costco.
No. There's a Costco coming.
Okay.
I think it opens the end of the year. Yeah.
All right, go park your truck there. That's just for shits and giggles. Costco has a $99 DeWalt 108-piece tool set. Best value out there. So anybody got a Costco? I love me some Costco. Now on the flip side, Costco has a Costco, but without the T, so it's like COSTO, 3-in-1 convertible aluminum dolly. That thing is great for about a half a job. Do not waste your money on that. Buy heavy, shitty steel dollies. If you're going to spend real money on a dolly, you buy like a $300 to $400 dolly from Uline that's got the nice heavy channel aluminum. But that 3-in-1 convertible dolly at Costco, I fucking loved it. But my guys, they would last like a week or two. They put them in the bed of the truck one time, they got all this skinny aluminum, one little pipe get messed up, you're jacked up. That is for a homeowner that's moving stuff from like the back of his car to the back of his garage, right? I mean, it's good for 10 feet at a time.
Yeah.
Or like a little old lady who works or lives in an apartment home or like a senior living facility that moves her groceries down the hall. Do not buy that $99 3-in-1 convertible dolly from Costco.
Just remember, like,
not to buy.
Right now, you're also being your best evaluation. So now you can actually figure out, okay, what do I want my guys using? How do I want them using it? Is this going to be easy to have a new person come on, figure this shit out, or is it going to be too much, not enough, that kind of thing? Also, I tell everybody this. You have to remember you're buying something for other people to use. So, I mean, if you go out there and you get that Cobalt shovel that's $35, cool. You just burn $35 on a shovel, right? Get the cheap $10 shovel. It's a shovel, all right? It's not.
Go to Habitat Humanity, dude. Go to Habitat Humanity. It's in the $3 bin, right?
Yeah,
go
fucking rakes. Don't put a rake in the truck. It's gonna get effed up.
Oh my god,
first week.
And oh man, I had employees. It was like 3-4 months ago. They bought brooms. They bought push brooms. This is from my rage room. They bought.
That's your first job. I guarantee you'll get a broom.
I wanted to lose my mind.
My
they bought
gosh.
a push broom. They're
I will say.
Bring it. Go ahead.
I will say. I like
what do you gotta say?
the brooms with the double support from the stick.
Oh yeah,
Those are pretty cool.
Those
are good.
Yeah, until one of them gets dinged up because you threw in the bed of your truck and then threw the dolly on top of it, and then you can only push it so hard because otherwise you push it. You can kind of do this number because the sport bends. All right, what other questions you got, Logan?
As far as trailers go, the dump trailers is going to be my route that I take. I think we talked about it the other day, Andy. The 10-foot trailer is considered a truck to my waste management company, a truck load. So it's about a half the cost as far as any trailer above 10 foot.
So he's a unique situation in landfill.
Bucks. Yeah,
so his
65, 70 bucks per ton.
Now double check the axles. That's the other thing. So I'm a little back brief. That's why I hate doing calls ahead of time because then I forget what the fuck I talked about. All right. Yeah. So his landfill is basically, if you're a small truck, there's this price. If you're a big truck, you're this price. And what they consider a small truck is trailers less than 10 feet. Now, the challenge with that is as soon as you put a double axle on it, dual axle, and it dumps, they might be like, yeah, fuck you. You're obviously not a small truck. Like, cool story, bro. And
I would say this, structure your business around you, not your landfill. The reason why is because your landfill will change anything they want whenever they want. And they don't care about you. They're not going to be like, hey, Logan, so we're thinking about changing our prices, but we really want to know what you think first. No. Right. They're going to be like, hey, Logan, fuck you. We changed our prices. That's what they're going to do. All right.
And they're not even going to call you. You're just going to be like, why do you charge me more? Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah.
We changed our prices. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You didn't get our newsletter?
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, you're not on the email list? All right.
But what I'm saying is, I think you just
you want to go back to the hill and grab it?
Go with the. I would suggest a 14K dual axle 12-foot trailer, dump trailer. If you can get them with the extensions, do it. I found 5 feet total in trailer height is perfect because from the ground you're looking at about 7 feet, so they could still hop up on that fender and you can still side load. The minute you get into 6 foot, certain trailers are so high off the ground that now you're like 8 or 9 feet in the air, and it's a pain in the ass.
So let me ask you that. They got the low-rise sides versus the high-rise. I've got a landscape buddy 10 minutes away from me. He's got a decent-sized landscape company. He said he'd have numerous jobs for me to do. He says get the low-rise dump trailer and then get mesh wire about 3/4 foot above that because it's lightweight.
So I do.
But
I
you
do
still have the retainer.
So I have 4 foot. So to Casey's point, I have 6 foot sides because I don't like to stack it high. So I have 4 foot sides and I have 2 foot of mesh above that.
2 foot mesh.
If you go 6 foot of steel, that fucker's heavy. It's just a heavy ass trailer. Yeah. And we used to do wood, so we used to do 4 foot of wood, 4 foot of steel, and then 2 foot of wood. 2 foot of wood is a lot you could probably get away with 12 to 18 inches of wood, because now time you get to 4 or 2 foot of wood, you got to have 3 2x8s.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you'll even see like big dump trucks. Like I got no beef with the wood, because especially if you're side loading, you can always replace it over time. But yeah, either way, whether you go 4, 5, 6 feet, you allow for some space for mesh, and if you can find a builder that builds them, you can now, because people are more open to the junk roll industry than they were in the past, you can find companies that build dump trailers. And for any of our listeners that are out there, I know we're not live.
I got a better deal when I bought 2. I designed them, but I bought 2 customized dump trailers from a company, and they knocked out like $3,000 off because I bought 2.
Yeah, because at
the time I needed
the 7
2.
feet once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a metal fabricator that would do the mesh sides. I'm just saying, is that an option?
Yeah, I would say I would
recommend?
say get the extensions. I would say get the extensions that trailer comes with, or as an accessory, and then have your guy weld them. Because honestly, they're built for that trailer, for the sockets or whatever, and you just fabricate, boom, you're good to go.
The mesh, yeah. I've got a buddy down in Arizona. He's got a junk removal, but he has the metal prefabbed high walls, 6 foot walls, and
that's what I had.
Low profile you can walk into, and that thing's ginormous. I mean, that's got to beat the shit out of your truck trying to haul that around, let alone without even a load in there all day. That's a heavy trailer.
You got to look at what you're pulling with, but like also with the mesh, I had one trailer that was all mesh, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I hated it because everything gets stuck in it, gets hung up in it. It tears.
But that was mesh. That was mesh. Yeah. Mesh. That was the whole sidewall. Yeah. Do not do the whole sidewall mesh. Recommend 3 to 4 feet. 3-4 foot.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to slide stuff. Because it's got to be able to slide in, slide out, and a lot of stuff you put it on top. Once you tip that out, gravity will work itself out. It'll fall off. Versus getting stuck.
Yeah.
The other thing, Casey, we did talk about this the other day. He was asking about pickup trucks. He was asking if you can go with a half ton. I think this was his first question. Was, hey, can you get away with a half ton pickup truck, or do a 3/4 ton right off the bat? What's your answer?
My answer is you can get away with stealing CDs at Walmart until you get caught. Right. Same thing with a truck. You can get away with running a half ton pickup until one day it just stops. Right. Because it's not meant for
the
what
reason
you're doing.
I ask is I get a lot. I used to run a lot of Facebook ads, so I'm very familiar with that. The Facebook Marketplace is a great place to advertise your business. If you know how to do it right without getting flagged and getting them booted, whatever the case may be, it's a great place to advertise. I get a lot of advertisements for the city south of me, the Des Moines metro area, which is our large city south of me. And I see in the pictures the junk removal company posting pictures of the truck, the trailer, the before, the after. He's running a half-ton truck, and that's what made me curious. It's a newer truck, so if he wants to beat the shit out of it, fine. But that's what struck the interest is, can I get away with that? Because
you can get away with it for about 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And then you're going to realize real quick that, because I started with the F-150 type. It was a Lincoln, because that's how I roll, but it was a Lincoln Mark IV. And
hold on, you drive a GMC now. Don't even mark for that. Yeah, now you do.
Oh man, but we started with that half ton pickup, and I'm gonna tell you right now, our first purchase was probably 2-3 months later. We bought a 3/4 ton F-250 diesel 4x4. I mean, and it was XL, XLT. It doesn't carry the trim, but 4x4 for us because of the conditions, the terrain. But a 3/4 ton because of the weight. When you're towing all the damn time, your truck has to handle that. But also remember this, your competition can have that. There's a lot of jobs that got junk couldn't do because they had to add an extra truck or 2 extra trucks. And then the price would be just astronomical when we could do it because we had the facility. I mean, we had the trailer. The trailer is on 14K axles. So now you can actually have about 12, maybe 11,000 pounds in that trailer. And your truck's pulling that trailer, right? Well, I just always found I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And in this business, if you're not always growing to the next level, well then, you can do a half-ton truck, and that'll probably last you as long as you want it to. But when you're growing and pushing and growing and pushing, you need trucks that'll keep up. You could capital, cash is that's the fuel of your business, right? It is your absolute lifeblood. But when you're talking about a $35,000, $40,000 purchase,
or a $45,000, $50,000 purchase that's going to give that it's not going to limit you. That's where you make your incremental changes, right? Be willing to invest in the big things, right? Not piss away money on the little things. I saw guys, like I said, buy shitty dollies or cheap dollies, trucks they weren't happy with. And then they're, again, 6 months down the road and they're like, oh, I spent all this money and I have a bunch of equipment and tools that don't meet the needs of my customers. Mm-hmm. And so buy it. Like our Workhorse day one, I don't know if you knew this, Casey, we had a purple 12-passenger E350, so a 3/4 ton, E350 Ford van. That thing was our workhorse. I took all the seats out of the back. I built the deck to where the seat brackets were, so it was nice and flat. I could put scrap buckets inside there. I could fit like a 64-gallon garbage can in there, in and out. That thing was our workhorse. So when we were franchised, I used to drive my Jeep. I would sell the job. Hey, we're a real professional company. Look at my nice wrap Jeep. And I'd show up in a 1997 Ford 350 purple van and bang jobs like a mother. And my brother toured the country with that van eventually, but before that.
Well,
so it was a workhorse. So we never knew what it was like to not have the capabilities to get through some shit, the mud and the muck and the weight.
But it's also one of those things where you look at where you started, what you learned, and if you had to start it over again from a clean slate, what would you change? And I'll tell you this. Yeah, we started with a half-ton pickup, but when you look at the money aspect of it, why buy a half-ton when you can buy a 3/4 ton? And you're not wanting to go fancy, so you can't compare it to your everyday purchase like an F350 King Ranch. No, dude, you need a F250 XL, XLT, plastic seats because your guys are going to
rubber
screw it
seats.
Up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You smell
rubber
ass
seats are
sweat all day long.
Ass cheeks sticking, but that's fine. No, what do you drive? What kind of car do you drive now, or truck, or what do you drive now?
I've just got a car now. The truck's in the process of buying. I've got one lined up for Friday that I'm looking at. I mean, it's a Chevy 2500. And I mean, Andy, how the Midwest goes with trucks. I mean, you can't find a used truck that's not rusted out because the salt here is just absolutely terrible when it comes wintertime.
Oh yeah.
And financing a brand new vehicle without any jobs is just not something that I'm looking to do quite yet. Just you got to have something to work with, and a used truck is going to be.
If you don't mind me asking, how much money do you have for this opportunity? I don't know how much money you have. How much money have you thought about putting into starting this business?
As much as what it takes. I mean, I'm 22,000.
Well, don't say that because I'll tell you $150K right now. That's what it takes for the first year to get started. Yeah, liquid. Okay.
As a side job, starting out, not dropping everything and going full time in this, that's what I'm working with. And I mean, it's not something that I'm afraid to do as far as after my 9 to 5, picking up a couple jobs, doing it then and rinse and repeating. It's the
reason I ask is because one way of doing this is whatever vehicle you have now, you can make a deal with the dealership, trade it in on a pre-owned, certified, whatever 3/4 ton pickup. And go that route, right? Like replace one loan with the other, or even take out a loan. Like, look, I know people think borrowing money is stupid. It is for consumer products, but when you implement your vehicle into your business, it's no longer a consumer product. Now it's part of your business. Now it's considered a rolling asset, I guess you could say.
No intention to pay cash for a truck. Financing a truck is probably the best option because you do look at it as an expense. I mean, you got to make that payment.
You'll be surprised that most people that pay cash for trucks for their business, they put it on a credit card.
Yeah.
So they're actually doing the exact same thing.
Paying a lot more interest. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah. They pay cash for the truck, but live on credit cards for 6 months.
Might as well leverage the money. It's it's the best route we got, and then we all know. I mean, the market right now is just absolutely insane, and we don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now. So it's better to hold on to the cash while you can, because.
Borrowing's cheap,
saying one thing's going to happen, right? And then you got another person saying we're just fine, but you never really know until it happens.
I tell you what, you can't ever count on the best times, but you can count on bad times. They're going to happen. You just don't know exactly when. You they will happen.
Yeah, the best time to leverage money is when you have it. That's it. Like right now, I mean, I just got a line of credit approved for me for this winter. I don't need it now, but come January, February, March, depending on how these elections go, I might need it. So I leverage it now versus waiting until I need it. Now, I'm not paying interest on it. I just have it approved where it's like, all right, it's a line of credit. Like I was told a couple of years ago, every business, once they're available, get a line of credit. I don't care if it's $5,000 line of credit. Right? Tap into
Oh my
it,
gosh,
use it,
yes.
pay, you know, you got to pay it down once a year. I've been in business 6 years. I've never utilized a line of credit in this business. I've used them for when I used to flip houses. I've pulled line of credits and things like that. And I couldn't be happier now that I'm pulling a line of credit. Now, I'm not saying you can go to the bank right now and get one because you have, you know, not even proof of concept yet. But for you and other listeners, the first chance you get, because banks want to sell you shit, right? So the first chance the bank's like, hey, I want to sell you a line of credit, it's just a product for them. You say yes, you get it approved. It's like a credit card when you first get it. Use it, pay it off. Use it, pay it off, right? Maybe every once in a while.
I would even suggest
let it revolve.
Start your line of credit with a rental company, an equipment rental company. The reason why, because you're going to be going to them anyways. Why not beef up your net 30 with them? And it's funny because in business, I never offered net 30 to anybody except for maybe like my premium clients. But man, did I always ask for it when it came to dumpster companies, rental companies, because it really does help, especially in the beginning, to push off that bill. But yeah, building a line of credit is great because remember this, your first couple years, if you want to, and you can talk to a CPA. I'm no, by no means am I a legal CPA or anything, but you're going to want to avoid some taxation on things. So you're not going to show a lot of profit. You're not going to make a lot of profit. But here's the deal. In order to avoid taxes, you need to show a loss. In order to get a loan, you got to show profit. If your business isn't showing a profit and you want to get out a big substantial loan for anything, they're going to say, well, sorry, but you have a tanking business. So it's a sweet spot. You start building that line of credit. I would suggest a rental company just because you're going to be using them for whatever reason. Something's going to come up, Mini X, skid steer, something. And it'll also start putting your DUNS number together. Do you have a DUNS number or have you looked into that?
No, I haven't.
Go get you a DUNS number. Go get a do you have your EIN? Do you have your LLC formed yet?
LLC and EIN, yeah.
All right. So the next thing you want to do is get a DUNS number. That's the next logical choice. And then you also want to have
explain what the DUNS number is.
It's your.
It's like your credit score for your business.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't matter your first 5 years, but you gotta start it as soon as possible so that in 5 years from now, when it becomes relevant, you have some traction.
Gotcha.
And it should be free, I believe.
It is
along with the EIN.
It's DUNS and Bradstreet.
Yeah.
Yep. And the cool thing is, like at first, you're gonna realize it's really irrelevant to certain companies. But I always ask. I do. Hey, do y'all accept a DUNS number? And they're like, oh no, we don't. Or they're like, yeah, we do. What is it? And now you can actually track that credit, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna post a picture here.
What you got a picture of?
I was just going to show you my setup, but it's syncing. But at one point I had 6 trucks, and one was a half ton. They all were 3/4 ton diesels because we got to that point. It was better to have it, man.
Yeah. So here's for you and all our listeners out there. They're going to be looking for your NAICS code. NAICS code, which is your national. Fuck.
You can't change.
What do you mean you can't change? You can't change it,
dude.
North American Industry Classification System. You can't change it. You can
apparently not. I've been trying.
Right,
I need to change one of mine.
All right. Well, are you sure you're not talking about your cage? There's also a cage number. That's another one.
No.
Anyways, all right. If you're in this industry, you're in the NAICS code 562111, which is solid waste collection. That's it. That's your NAICS code from the 2017. They just updated them again. They update them every 5 years. And you're like in trash hauling local. That's the whatever. But everything that's rubbish, trash, waste all falls under 562111. Cage code, that's the one that cage codes. Also look up those. So again, this is when you want to get into commercial jobs and bigger jobs. These are all things where I'm like, I don't know what any of this shit means. And then occasionally people are like, hey, do you have this thing? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So you have your DUNS cage code. Yep.
Okay.
It is your commercial and government entity program. I don't know.
Hey, I'm going to show you this real quick, Logan.
What do you want to show you a picture of your trucks? No one gives a shit about your trucks.
I like it. I haven't seen it. You're gonna like it too. There's a guy that you
No, I'm not.
There's a guy you recognize.
Do I have to do a commercial here to fill in the gap here since we're coming up on 1 hour on the show and you're farting around?
What? I mean, you can.
I'll just do a quick plug. Demo Worx out of Dallas, Texas, here to demo your face and your living room, tearing down houses in the greater DFW area. Demo Worx coming to you live. There's your Demo Worx.
Can you see this right now?
Yeah, we can see your picture. Shit. Oh my God.
You know who that is?
Oh. The guy in the truck. Is it your brother?
Kelton. Remember that guy?
Kelton.
Yeah.
He had shorter hair when I met him.
Oh man, he was
Look how ugly
God
that fucking
bless.
branding is. God bless. How do I stop? Taylor's listening. Taylor, how do I stop his fucking share? There you go.
I'll stop sharing it.
Look at
there you go.
Jesus.
Oh
we
man,
look at ourselves in the infinity screen. There's Taylor. Taylor's coming out. Nope, Taylor left. Taylor's like.
I even had my skid steer in there.
I saw it. In the far
That's
left
another
truck.
conversation.
Unwrapped truck. All right. So let's. You know what? Instead of me doing the recap, Logan, what'd you get out of this call today? What advice, what did you get out of this call today? What did you learn that you didn't know before that's going to go make you successful in the junk removal world?
Get connections, get your name out there. Make a presence. I think that was a big thing, is make a presence in the community. Not just be the cheap guy, but actually make an impact with the community outside of the work, whether it's volunteering or just participating in local things and blast your brand and your name out there. And then know your worth. Know the pricing, whether it's the trailer or the labor rate, and then just doing the work. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it takes. You can talk forever, and you can, wish and want, but at the end of the day, it's just about what you do.
Yeah, put the work in.
Well, yeah, and just remember, you always got to figure it out too, man. You're going to see things that Andy and I are not used to seeing. I mean, there's still things that I've had people call me and ask. I'm like, I've never faced that before, but that's what we're here for. So when you get started, it's exciting because now you're legit, you're a business, but it's also scary. But hey, the cool thing about that fear is it's all on you now. Mm-hmm. You have no boss man. You are the boss man.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right.
Lessons learned through doing it, but yeah.
Yeah. Hey, do you have a name picked out yet?
Cyclone waste removal.
Cyclone waste removal. I like it.
State
you know what? I like it. No. Say the Cyclones. All right. Well, here we go. Cyclone waste removal. Watch out for Logan. He's going to go take on the world. This has been episode 27 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. Logan, thank you for joining. Casey, glad you got out of bed for this today. You look like Mick Foley. For those of you that know me, knew I loved WWE Attitude Era Wrestling, the Monday Night Wars. And about halfway through the show today, I realized you looked like Mick Foley, who was Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack.
So me?
You gotta get that. Yeah, you look like that. Your beard, your face. You might need
longer hair.
There you go. No, but now he shaved his head. He's got a big beard. Anyways, Mick Foley joining us in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, where's this tarantula? Alleged tarantula. Do you have this? Can we see this?
It wasn't a tarantula. It was a bag. It was a glimpse and made me spit my beer. Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. I thought it was like a toy tarantula. Jesus. See,
no, dude.
That's why Taylor comes in. Taylor comes in at the end to make sure we don't miss anything from the show notes.
Dude, I spit beer everywhere.
We saw it. We were in the middle of making a point. Like it was a minute 56. There was beer everywhere. God, but Logan thought we were reputable individuals before that. God
sorry.
Bless. There he is. All right. Spittin' beer, telling jokes, making the junk removal world revolve. It's been another great episode. Thanks for joining us.